Hello again, welcome to Kimmel Bay Church's daily vlog. And today we're looking at a little known character from the Old Testament. I've chosen a man called Ehud, and you can read about him in Judges chapter 3 verses 12 to 30. After Joshua died, the Israelites turned away from God and mixed with other nations. There were 5 that they didn't conquer. They had to learn to live with them. They intermarried with them. They worshipped their gods, and God left them to it for a while. Then, because it was all getting out of hand, God appointed judges to lead them into being an orderly nation, to guide them, to administer justice. Othniel was the first judge, and God was with him, and they had peace for 40 years as long as they obeyed God through Othniel's leading. But after Othniel died, they went back to their old ways. Verse 12 tells us they did evil in the sight of the Lord. They should have known better, but because of how they behaved, God gave power over them to the king of Moab, a king named Eglon. And they lost, it says in the NIV, the city of palms, Jericho. There were 18 years of war, 18 years of being persecuted, under constant attack. And then God, as they cried out to God, God called out a deliverer. And the deliverer was a man named Ehud, a left-handed man, we are told. The Israelites sent Ehud with a tribute to King Eglon. Normally, a right-handed soldier would have his sword in its sheath strapped to his left side for ease of drawing it. That's what the king's guards looked for when they were people came to visit. But Ehud strapped his sheath to his right thigh under his tunic and made a smaller double-edged sword to fit it that couldn't be seen. He got past the guards without any problem. Then, after Eglon's men had taken the tribute and presented it to the king, Ehud asked for a private audience with the king. And he said, "Your Majesty, I have a secret message for you." The guards were told to leave, and as Ehud bent to speak to the king who was seated, he bent over, I would imagine, as if he was telling him the secret message into his ear. And he bent over and drew his sword. And, well, read what happened next in Judges chapter 3, verses 20 and following, because needless to say, Eglon came to a very sticky end, and Israel under Ehud had 80 years of peace, and Ehud was their second judge. And why do I draw him out of all the other characters of the Old Testament? Well, our eldest son and 2 of our grandsons and one of our great nieces are all left-handed and very neat writers. One of our grandsons and his cousin were in the same class in junior school, and after moving up a class, the new teacher called them out to the front. She'd seen them writing with their left hand. "Why are you not using your right hand?" she asked. And our great niece, very full of confidence, she always has been, said, "Well, because we're left-handed." "Well, we'll soon do something about that," the teacher said. This was in the 1980s. As you can imagine, 2 sets of parents had private words with that teacher. Left-handedness was discriminated against in some countries until the 20th century. It was illegal in one Eastern European country, and there were dire consequences if you were caught using your left hand. Left hands were often tied to the back of the chair in school, or tied to the side of the pupil, to make them use their right hand, even in Britain. In medieval times, you could be accused of being a witch or full of the spirit of the devil. Thankfully, we don't bother with such superstitions, and we've moved on. I pray we have. And we look at this man and we realise that God singled out a man who would be regarded as disabled, at best not normal, or one who had an evil spirit in him, and God called him out because he saw the heart of the man. We should never feel put down in any way for any reason if we're not like everybody else, because God sees what's inside us and he calls us to use the gifts he's given us. God bless you. I'll be praying for you.